Hello, hello. Alright, that's the sample. Alright, let's continue with Shiny Nikki. We're in volume 2, chapter 6. It has 3 volumes so far, so we're way past the halfway point. Close to the evening, a still silent hangs over the ancient pigeon forest, the setting sun evaporating moisture in the air. The slanted lights cast disappropriate shadows of trees on the damp road, and the sound of returning wings and welcoming verses can be heard overhead. Giselle meets up with Nikki at the southwestern entrance of the pigeon forest with nothing but a plain-looking backpack. Pigeon is vast, and travelers usually choose to stay at the rest stop, where they can get food and supplies. At those houses sit the rest stop, I mean. Jet barbecue and warm soup up ahead. Giselle leads the way through the puddles and withered branches, and her shoes and the hem of her dress are muddy, but she doesn't seem to mind. Giselle, have you been to the pigeon forest before? Encounter with nature has observation posts in the forest and puts it all together immense from time to time, and discover this new moon phenomenon here first. And to hear the members encounter with nature, a strange new moon hangs above the pigeon forest, and it gives an abnormal blue light and does not seem to wax or wane over time. What are their thoughts on the matter? The members of the association join an interest in nature, and they're usually experts on inexplicable events like this. But so far, no one has known anything about this. And Giselle takes the group down another path, saving Momo's clothes from a puddle along the way. The further into the forest, the more it feels like we're stepping into an ancient domain, and whether this domain belongs to someone or whether you're welcome in it remains unknown. The moon looks like the one above the Evernight Sea, which was documented in the Cloud Capital University Library. A new moon hangs perpetually over the Evernight Sea, and though the storms rage across the water, the moon remains unmoved. But isn't the Evernight Sea home to the cursed water elves? And I thought it was the curse that made it so special. Could Patient Forest be cursed too? And who would do that? Speaking of the curse that transformed the moon of the Evernight Sea, who would be involved in such a thing? And Giselle does not answer, and her steps slow, and the group realizes that the path opens up a wide clearing. Dandelions and wildflowers sway in the wind, and next to the pond rests a wooden pathway illuminated by streetlights, and simple brick houses dot the distant fields and spinning warm light and distinct voices of their windows. Welcome to the trading post, and it's run by an old dwarf who serves as a tasty butter soup, and we take 5 at a rest stop. And at the end of the path, the trading post doors swing open, and the light inside the silhouette and a small figure. Lovely guests, welcome to the forest stop, and your luck and dinner been served. Dinner time. That's a nice sepia color dress.
Will you trust me?
What would better if the neighborhood being like brown. The man who opened the door wears a canvas apron and a touched hat with a smiley face, and a face mask with a cute print. And the only feature visible is his brown eyes and framed by his chubby face and lending him a kind of childlike appearance. It's little Giselle and brought your little friends, Little friends. And the sight of someone, even a dwarf who comes up to Giselle's waist calling others little friends, brings out Momo's sarcasm. Nikki tells Tita Momo this is the owner of the rest of Jim, and you can call him Uncle Jim if you like. And my youngest coming out of the cold and make yourself at home. And the interior of the wooden house is a neat and tidy, and a toasty brick fireplace drives out the cold accumulated on the road. Tonight's meal is an apple cinnamon pie and mushrooms and vegetable sauté in butter and grilled onions, and as today's special, Mountains beer, and we're out of lemongrass. I'll go pick you some. And thank you, dear. And without breaking a stride, Uncle James hands Giselle a small basket before turning to Nikki. And come sit by the fire, Miss Nikki, and the forest has been very humid as of late, and please come warm your feet. Maybe blue will be better. I think I'll add gloves to this one, so no one may like. Because it makes no sense to like get your nails done and then put on gloves, unless if they have holes or something. Well, I show front and back and off we go.
Come on. I'll present you with the most beautiful dream.
Oh, those earrings have an interesting asymmetry. The earrings don't have to be like identical as long as they are the same color. And even asymmetry can be balanced out because asymmetrical earrings and then you can have asymmetrical socks. Half an hour later. Do you hear knocking, Nikki? Is it Giselle back? Coming. An Collin opens the door and Nikki next to the fire does not see Giselle returning but an elaborately dressed group of people. Where others may have pulled off outfits like this group seems uncomfortable and tugging at their waistbands discreetly. And at their head stands a man with an auburn head of hair and glowing in the light. Isn't that Giselle? Oh, you know your master and Jisoo. And the rest of belongs to the Siran family, and Master Jisoo and Steward Cornelia checks up on us regularly. Steward Cornelia? And as he introduces the Siran family, Uncle Jim invites Giselle and Cornelia and the rest of the group in. Good day, Uncle Jim, and good day, travelers. It's only now that Nikki recognizes all of the familiar faces, Cornelia the steward, and Javi the butler, and Liana the maid, and all of the members of the Justiciars. And Giselle musters with his eyes, and Nikki and the group stay quiet about the revelations. Uncle Jim, please prepare some fresh hay for our horse, and Javi accompany Uncle Jim to the stable. Yes, master, of course, master, and leave the groundwork to me, and to serve you is my greatest honor. In Javi steps forth, all the anti-flattery and exaggerated funny, and his contempt for the role evident. And why you are here? And are you on a mission from the Justiciars? Not the Justiciars, and we were hired by a young master Sirant here. And a person of great importance has entered the forest, and I am here on my father's orders to receive this person. And the rest of it is just the horses, and we'll be setting out for singing tomorrow morning. And what pay for protection when you got your own family to tag along? And news of the streets to the pigeon forest must be kept secret, and there are eyes and ears surrounding the capital. And calling about my family's connection will have drawn suspicion, so I borrowed some hands from the commander. And once in the forest, and why not just go in? Without further instructions, we don't dare enter the deep forest, and it's a sacred ground for the elves of light, after all. And only royalty is permitted to enter. Royalty of the elves of light, and could a person be? And only the queen would need to keep her tracks hidden and warrant such exhaustive measures from the Hiram family. And you wouldn't happen to be thinking about Queen Ophelia, would you? And Giselle's mouth moves and then presses shut, and he gives Nikki a look. Shh, pretend you know nothing about this. And the queen recently discovered information worth pursuing in the glorious codices, and I don't know the details, but it could have something to do with the preserving the holy crystal's light. So the queen sent a congregation to the depths of the pigeon forest under the guise of renewing the glory codex. But the elves of light only admit those who are purely of their own blood, so the queen had no choice but to come in person. And as Giselle gives away palace secrets, Cornelia suddenly makes a gesture. Cuckoo. And what's that sound? And the groom looks down to find a small palm-sized several mushrooms next to the table, and they're all colored red and white, and gleaming black eyes shine under their caps. Inquisitive cool. And the little mushroom rolls their beady black eyes and continue to cool, to the bemusement of Giselle and his companion. And what are they saying? They say they are shroomies, and the one that can meet in your backpack. So they're like mushroom type of fairies, and they like to eat meat. That's creepy. Helpful cooling. They say that your friend is coming this way with fresh lemongrass and apple dipping for the evening dew. And when you seriously understand them, Uncle Jim and Nikki, I'm back. Well, now you know a lesson known facts about Momo that he can speak, he can understand literally everyone. Well, kind of like Meow from like Team Rocket, that he can speak to all of that he can understand all of the dialects of all of the Pokemon from all regions and translate for the humans. Giselle says as she opens the door, I found fresh lemongrass and some apples with dew still on them. Spenton cooing. And what does that mean? He said I was right and can I have the can now? My friend, you know how to speak in coos. Am I the only one who doesn't? It's perfectly normal and I don't know how to either. And Giselle exchanges glances with his companions and then looks at the big round eyes of the shroomies. And finally he finishes an expensive can of meat from Cornelius' back. He fishes. Ecstatic and desperately started cooing. And some appetite they got and the can's bigger than all of them combined. And they like meat, but they can't get it themselves. They're so shy, so they don't usually ask people for food. So they have a voracious appetite for meat, but are not strong enough to hunt for it. Full grade for cooing. And the empty can next to them, the shroomies bounce up and down in glee. They say thank you, our friend, and with a maple head, and this is the best meat we ever had. And thank you for your hospitality, Maplehead friend. And it's late and we're heading home. And the Shumis wait for Momo to finish translating and then rub up against the side of Giselle's leg before filing out of the door. And curiously, Momo follows them out and watches as they drift into a nearby bush. Pinpricks of light stream to the windows and doors of the tiny Shumis above. So this is their home. Aside from the Shumis, the forest is home to many more friendly creatures, and change into warmer clothing and I'll take you on a walk. That looks fun. No, I have gloves, that's why I left, that's why I didn't put nail on. Let me see, this one has a fingerless glove. Ah, yeah, it takes them off. It's either one or the other. completely awesome. Let's go front and back. And off we go.
Every battle I'm in, victory is the only outcome.
The evening arrives soundlessly as the light mist descends above the forest, and the shrubs along the path are bathed in golden glow. And the evening wind brushes through the forest, bearing the birds aloft and carrying their songs through the branches. Pigeon Forest Shore is beautiful, and as known as Nikki speaks the words, a tiny owl springs from a camellia flower up ahead, and at Nikki's praise she does a gleeful tour in the air before disappearing. What was that? A species of tiny owls that lives in the flowers, and some books in the cloud refer to them as flower fairies. And lots of unknown tribes in the forest too, it sounds like. And this is one of the original birthplaces of civilization in Maryland. And long ago, before human civilization took its first steps, elves have been studying music and philosophy. And the tribes that live here now are not as large as they used to be, but they are the oldest denizens of the continent. And Giselle bends down and with one finger taps on the little plant you don't recognize, and the plant wiggles like it's responding to her. Amazing, it's like being in a fairy tale. And many of Maryland's fairy tales draw inspiration from the pigeon forest. Ancient powers far beyond human imagination slumber here in the midst of all this beauty. Ancient powers? And you mean all of the elves in here that can't believe? I heard that the elves of light cannot live in the forest, and it is the same for the other elf tribes. The elves are tribes for many reasons, and for some it's survival, for others a covenant with nature, and then there are curses. And night slowly falls as Giselle looks to the fading twilight. And with the last of the light, Nikki notices a round-looking steel by the side of the path, and cardboard snake-like vines upon its hard surface. And what's over there? I can't make out anything. It seems ancient. These steels were left behind by the elves long ago, scattered throughout the forest. The elves of light? And Giselle shakes her head and approaches the steel and runs a fingertip along the markings. Far older than them. Nikki, Teresita, come here. And Giselle closes her eyes and lays a hand on the steel, and a rush of power pours forth like a spring, and gently caressing the mind. Gently caressing the mind. That sounds weird, but whatever. Looks like we're going for the fairy theme this time. Alright, there's the front and back, and after that.
I see the causes of the world with my eyes.
Like water on a dry riverbed, the lines on the road reconnect with one another, glowing softly. The light is gentle and draws the eyes towards the glow and glowing words as whispers sound in everyone's ears, and a rushing wind and a raging waterfall, and a crackle of lightning and a tremor in the earth. And they are interwoven between those heavenly sounds. Elvish chants drift through the woods like an argent breeze, and the moment you try to catch them, they steal away before they can be properly heard. And just so how Giselle captures them and recites them word for word before everyone's eyes. You were an elf this whole time, Giselle? And with a faint smile, Giselle lifts her hand off the steel, and the evening wind with a touch of cold scatters a notes in the air, and the otherworldly voices still themselves, just tapping into forgotten whispers from long ago. And what were they singing about? It's an ode dedicated to the elven ancestor that first made their home in Pigeon Forest. And Giselle brushes a shine of grime off the steel and looks it up into the sky. Nikki, Teresita, the new moon is out. And a razor-thin moon hangs above your head, like a sharp knife slicing the night sky open with ominous blue light. And the dark descends with a particular swiftness in the shadows of the strange moon, and the howling wind mixes with the murmurs of the nocturnal critters, and a shivering sound comes from the forest depths. A level body, the pigeon forest, and under the reflected light of the lake, 7 figures in black robes stemming bands with strange devices at their feet. The device glows suddenly like a bestial eye in the dark, and they give off an unblinking coldness, and their cold blue light echoes the ominous blue moon high above. And the young people hide under the dark shadows cast by the dense trees and hold their breath as they listen to the wind bringing soft whispers to their ears. And what's new? The Queen's entourage is still at the rest stop, and along with a few new arrivals, they are no threat to us and not on the move yet. I remember Mr. Viper's instructions, and we are to guard this place. Yes. And the most important thing is to watch these devices. If all goes according to plan, who's there? And a bolt fire from an unseen weapon pierces the bushes and embeds itself on the tree trunk, and its corrosive coating sizzling. And a frightened rabbit dashes from the bushes and runs deep into the forest, and the black roots spread out cautiously after the false alarms. And it's then that the smoke grenade lands at their feet, and the grenade is instantly aroused into a thick fog, and the ensuing miasma, a golden-haired youth enters the fray. Who's there? Protect the device. Fall back. That night, at the center of the Pigeon Forest, in the secluded misty domain, the Queen of the Owls of Light walks slowly and purposely towards the mist, wherein the ancient altar slumbers. When the light wanes, return to your birthplace and seek the first spark, whose sacred flames shall extend its glory. So, first spark, so the all spark of the Transformers made them? Well, they say that it makes different types of creatures, not just robots. Pious footsteps travel up moss-covered steps as Queen adjusts her regalia and kneels in front of the altar. I, Ophelia, Queen of the Owls of Light, hereby summon the emissary of fire and pray for the return of the sacred flame. May the glory of Aeons past bathe my people in its light and shine unto eternity. And after her prayer, Ophelia's lips slip into an ancient hymn. And with the oven blood dripping from the dagger, the power contained in the holy chalice begins to stir. And in an instant the sun drives away the mist surrounding the altar, exposing a silver-haired silhouette lurking nearby. And in the next, tongues of blue flames spilled in the chalice, engulfing the queen. A massive crack of lightning splits the sky, and its echoes coalescing into a great thunderstorm. And as the wind howls, a blue figure walks out from between the flames. Like a returning king, he rises into the midair and surveys his surroundings. And the silver-haired man with oven blood in veins ascends the step, but the altar in front of him is already vacant. And in the quiet forest, broken steels lie face down on the earth, and phantom blue ancient texts rise like the mist into the air, coalescing into a mysterious spell. And the blue new moon hangs like an ominous smile in the sky as low murmurs slither across along the earth, and thin vines bear the vicious spikes as they rush towards a faint light in the black mist. The light forms into a pair of slithering wings as a murky halo descends upon the head of the pale blonde hair, and the clear eyes beneath the crown become enshrouded by shadows. Ophelia, and the girl's lone silhouette stands in the water, and the light from her fledgling wings fading, and the rising tide brought by the new moon surges forth, engulfing her in the weak light. Boom! And a bolt of lightning strikes the earth, and turning the night into day. Ah! Nikki jolts away, and Ophelia's silhouette in the new moon still imprinted upon her waking eyes. Teresita, Momo, what's happening? And the rest of the rest of the aroused from sleep, with lights gradually seeping in from every window, and frantic footsteps can be heard as people rush outside to observe the phenomenon. Let's find out. And as they reach the clearing in front of the rest stop, a crash of thunder booms from the depths of the forest, shaking the earth. And a bolt of blue lightning cuts through the earth and the sky, and as the rolling thunder continues to hammer at its their ears, and a low ancient chant courses through the trees, and running the earth beneath, and the pond in front of the rest stop bubbles, and surges engulfing the bridge. And the wind howls as the thunder and rain continue to pour down, rushing all in the clearing. In fright, and a horse bolts out of the padlock and gallops off into the woods. The horses are running off, and the Justicias leave a few of their members behind to reinforce the stables while Giselle and Cornelia head out into the woods. Nikki, I heard cries for help and someone's in trouble. And following the voices, Nikki looks down to find several shroomies at their feet and fearfully bouncing to and fro. And the flashes of lightning reveal that the bushes next to the path have been soaked in water, and the shroomies' homes are fully submerged. And the homeless shroomies huddle helplessly upon their mismating roosters, crying out in anguish. Nikki, the shroomies need our help. Momo, Teresita, we have to help them. And Giselle and Javi stretched to the water in a large wooden bucket with two spatulas to a row, and they tossed Momo inside and joined the shroomies in the rescue. An axe of electricity pierces the sky, and the stars are buried in the blue clouds, and the pond water breaches the banks and spills into the clearing. The water is still rising, and hold on tight. And look, there's a few over there, Nikki, and stay out of the water, and I'll swim over to them, Momo. And paddling with the spatulas in the floating bucket, Momo works in the tandem with Javi to scoop out stranded shroomies in the middle of the pond, and plopping them up into the bucket one by one. And Uncle Jim stands slackjaw in the entryway lantern, and while the dwarfs had lived in the forest for so long, he was stunned by the sight before him. In the thick darkness, a pale blue mist parts and reforms into a garish figures with snarling faces contorted by the wind and rain. And the mist gathers like an assembly army entering into a formation under the thunder and lightning as it prepares for a siege. And on the soundless order, the army charges through the woods towards the depths of the forest. Any missing shroomies, Momo? No, the shroomies say that they are all presented and accounted for. And pushing a bucket full of shroomies shuddering from the loss of their home, Javi wades through the waist-high water towards their shore. and a lightning bolt stands nearby with the sound of the accompanying thunder, and a dreamlike blue mist starts to take form. And the mist rose closer to Momo, and the trash mist intent on swallowing the bucket whole. And Momo, get out of the way. And through the thunder and the light, and a chestnut-colored horse gallops through the deep waters, and its black and mane tossing droplets of rain into the air as it charges through the mist. And the river yanks the rain and leaps down, and grabs Momo by the neck and lifts him up to meet their face, and the other hand pulls their soaked hood, revealing the golden strands of hair glistening with the raindrops. Lowen. Uncle Jim holds the door open in the entryway as everyone hurries to escape the storm. And as the rain lights the sun, Giselle and Cornelia return to the rest of it, holding the runaway horses by the reins. Young Master, young Stewart, and it's great to see you alive and well. And Uncle Jim jumps to the door and hands Giselle one towel, and Giselle nods and wipes the rain off his face, and then tosses it to Cornelia. And in the presence of the royalty, Lowen makes a knightly salute. Good evening, Master Sirand. I am Lowen, and a traveling mercenary. Your master listens to this golden hair night that your friends were able to escape the storm, and he saved their lives. And Uncle Jim has Lowen another one towel and leads it to the seat by the fire. Oh, Miss Nikki, I ran into Miss Giselle, and she says the storm has destroyed her friend's home and that she's going to check it out. The Shumis seem restless. The Shumis are saying that they have never seen a storm this big before, and many of their other schools may be in trouble too. And what do they mean by the other cuckoos? No idea, but it might mean other magical creatures. Anticipatory cooing. And thank you for rescuing us, dear golden hair friend, and dear pink hair friend, and dear orange hair friend. And the Shumis say that they are thankful to us all. You're welcome, my dear fungi friends. And don't mention it, Shumis, and we promise we'll help you rebuild your homes. And the Shumis cool and content as Nikki rubs his Shumi on the head, and then they follow Uncle Jim back to the outside and leaving little wet prints on the floor. Nikki, Teresita, you should change out of wet clothing though you'll catch a cold. It's a nice looking outfit.
elegant and gentle.
Alright, let's go front and back and off we go.
This time I'll change the ruined future.
When Nikki finishes changing, Giselle and Lauren are drying their clothes by the fire. Silently, they part to give Nikki room. So what are you doing pigeon force, Lauren? And at the sound of Mama's blunt question, the justiciars nearby pick up their ears. I am a mercenary, so not that I'm here on a mission. And how about you, my justiciar colleagues? We are on a mission as well. And Giselle rubs his nose and exchanges a quick glance with Cornelia and then speaks up again. We heard about a strange blue new moon, and that's also been said in the pigeon forest, so we came to investigate. And the way Giselle says also piques Nikki's interest. Are there other places where the new moon has cropped up? According to the intel gathered by the company, there have been numerous sightings of the blue new moon all over Maryland, and reports are coming from the Apple and Loden City, Town in the southern cloud, and even the seas to the northeast of Pigeon. And though most of the sightings have only lasted a few moments, its appearance in the Pigeon Forest seems to be the longest sighting recorded thus far. And the commander thinks that this anomaly is man-made, though we're not sure to what end, and the uniqueness of this anomaly may have less to do with the moon itself and more to do with the Pigeon Forest. And here in the oldest part of Maryland, mysterious and ancient powers gather, and the secrets of countless civilizations slumber beneath the stars. It seems that we share the same goal, and a fortnight ago I spotted a blue new moon above the waters in the northeast. But just as you said, it was gone just as quickly as it had appeared, and interesting, whirlpools and tides also emerged along the storms. As the conversation continues, the onslaught of the wind and rain subside, leaving behind a delicate mist among the swamp, though the windows and the faint cools of the shoemates can still be heard as they are discussing the events of the day. And the flickering fireplace plays on everyone's faces, bringing a warm touch of warmth to the now still night. So to sum it up, the same thunderstorm that we saw tonight also ravaged the seas where Lawrence found the other blue moon. And tonight's storm was actually more severe than what I witnessed, and the new moon here remains even after the storm instead of disappearing. And what's the deal with the blue moon, anyhow? And how can someone just change the moon? That doesn't sound scientific at all. Can the moon really be changed? Huh? Tell it to Piccolo who blew up the moon. Can the moon really be changed through human means? Objectively speaking, it shouldn't be possible, but perhaps this anomaly only appears as a vision in our perception. So you're saying that the people who saw it hallucinated? Lauren shakes his head. That's one way to think about it, and they may have created a false projection by somehow distorting space and time, and theoretically they could cause the same phenomena to appear in multiple places. So the blue moons in Loden, Bayonta, and the Northeast Open Sea, and the Pigeon Forest are projections. Is that the case? What did they project here? A perpetual new moon and a devastating storm. Giselle, are you chance familiar with a place called the Evernight Sea? And Giselle nods. And about 300 years ago, the elves of light went to war with the elves of water, and the elves of water lost and were banished to the open sea, the northernmost of which is the Evernight Sea. And after this battle, water elves disappeared from this world, and their population was said to be steadily declining ever since. And the other water elves were imprisoned and cursed by the light elves, according to some beliefs. And my history is spotty, but every pigeon I know the story, and lots of old books at home talk about the elves of water like demons of the deep or whatnot. And pigeon eyes, and I believe the elves of water are demons from the deep. And the book itself speaks may be biased, and light elves and water elves were sworn enemies after all. We found information on the storms that ravage the Evernight Sea and the new moon above it that never changes, and if this lunar anomaly origin is from the Evernight Sea. And the loss of the fireplace crackle, accompanied by Momo's soft snoring, and Nikki's mind reels from all of this new information and its implications. There's also something else, and before the storm we found a bunch of people dressed in black operating strange devices near the Lake Valley. And after subduing them, we confiscated a few other devices, and the information matches what we interpreted in the Northeast Open Sea, and it leads back to the Mercury Group. And Lauren pauses for a moment, tossing a sullen look at the Justiciars. And I heard that the Justiciars ran into similar situations in London City. Is that true, Lieutenant Cornelia? Yes, we also ran into men in black under the same new moon, but they were gone by the time we started looking. Though they haven't crossed the Justiciars yet, the commander also suspects that they are involved with the lunar anomalies. And who are these black-clad men? And based on previous runnings, we suspect that they are part of an organization called the Kangun, and their equipment likely comes from Viper, who's with the Mercury Group. Kangun and the Mercury Group, wait. And Nikki recalls when Rendai's letter and that the Kangun have been doing business with Mercury Group, and their leader showed up in the southern cloud and now near Pigeon Forest. And we ran into the organization a few days ago in the cloud capital, and also heard about the recent dealings with Mercury Group. And a tap of mouth falls over the cabin, and broken only by Momo's stars shuffling as he rolls over and slowly opens his bleary eyes. It's getting late, Nikki, Teresita. It is best if you change into something comfortable and get some rest. I sound comfortable going for bed. front and back and I forgot.
Can you trust me?
The following morning, the fox still lingers over the Pigeon Forest even though the storm that accompanied has long passed, and a light drizzle ripples over the water surface, and everyone of the rest awakes to a faint chill in the morning air. And well, mostly everyone, those who are awake gather around the only two guests still sleeping and dreaming on the floor. Meow, is this heaven made out of pork belly? And I have a barbecue, yes, I'm full, and you're so nice. And Miss Fairy Dodora, and I'm in Wonderland. Me no, I'm way off pitch. And a dance, you say, why yes, we shall. And the two look to be in absolute bliss, clenching the mushrooms that are pale gold in color and seem to be in an unknown species for the area. I found them on the floor like this about 35 minutes ago. And Nikki looks worried at Momo as Giselle grabs a suspicious golden mushroom and gives him a probing sniff. Uncle Jim, what is this? Is it poisonous? It's a very precious fungi, usually buried deep on the ground, and they aren't poisonous, but they tend to cause hallucinations of bliss, as you can plainly see. But where could they have gotten them? And the mushrooms are usually unreachable by human hands, and the shroomies are the only ones that can find them, and they usually hide them in dark corners where nobody can find them. And as if some in a group of shroomies poke their tops out of a corner. And with a murmur, the shrubbery schools fall on deaf ears. If the shroomies are the only ones capable of finding the golden mushrooms, could they have brought them over? I got it. Momo and Happy saved the shroomies from the storm last night, so they must have given this to them as a token of appreciation. Well, now you know if you like save a mushroom person, they're gonna give you some really good mushrooms as a reward. Uncle James slaps his thigh as he relates the unplausible story. So how do we wake them? And they have to willingly leave the paradise, and it's different method for everyone. Momo, the barbecue pork is ready. And Momo murmurs and rolls over. Thank you, but this kid is stuffed, and I'll give the rest to Nikki and Teresita. Teresita, Nikki, why is everyone here? And following your example, Cornelia kneels down and without a hint of emotion whispers a few words into Happy's ear. Dodora's dream is over and you miss your alarm. Ha ha! And with a loud cry, Happy straightens with the abject terror of one who has overslept. Ah, those are nice shoes. The biggest difference between head ornaments and headgear is that the headgear is bigger items. And also hats. Alright, front and back. And off we go.
I see the causes of the world with my eyes.
After coming to the sense, a moment of heavy overlapping explanation. The showman handed it to us early in the morning, and one bite couldn't hurt, and I thought, and that was the last thought I had before. It just smells so good, like a roasted pork belly fresh off the grill. And Lauren picks up one and gives it a sniff and holds it glossily over the golden top over the light before stuffing the rest into his backpack. I'm bringing this back for further research. Haha, sure you are. Uncle Jim, and what else do you know about these martians and white bliss of all things? And these golden martians are scattered all over the forest, and they are exceedingly rare and glowing over only where mysterious golden butterflies flap their wings. And my granddad used to say that these martians were gifts from the elves of fire, and that they also left the golden butterflies behind too. I know about the elves of fire, and they are one of the 8 elven emissaries, and the glory codex Symphonica has a hymn dedicated to them. Emissaries of fire, light of the land, with eyes of morning and gleaming strands, and when shadow descends, the light shall gather to both their ranks in embers and ash. We're getting some ash and stuff. We're getting some dark sheen to this. And ahead of the light, also light and the also water, and even the also flora, but also fire. That's a first for me. And the also fire once lived in the pigeon forest, but that was long ago, and they're all gone now. And the history of the Belgian elves had long debates of the glory records, and it is interesting that there's a historical sign near the rest stop. The wooden door creaks as damp oily smell greets their noses. And what is this place? And Lauren adjusts quickly to the darkness and steps off the desk and blows the dust off the oil lamp and lighting it up by practical hand. Do you know who Salah is? Salah, who's that? A prophet who appears in a multitude of religions, and according to legend, the God of glory once summoned him here to be enlightened. And how long ago was this? 2,000 years ago, give or take. And Lauren waves away a dust in the air. And books and scrolls are stacked in a messy piles and in the cramped spaces, and the yellow pages whisper of forgotten histories. And they seem to be in a decent shape despite being here for so long. And this repository was rebuilt on sacred ground by the Pigeon Royals and at the behest of Ludwig, the first Elven king. And it's been protected by the Church of Glory over the generations and maintained by the Pigeon Crown, built to reflect its original state when Salah first came here, and their respect for history is self-evident. Look here. And lo enlists a thick, lavishly decorated, transparent wrap coated with a wooden strand built specially to hold it. And on its cover engraved in gold are the words Sinfonica. When the also like built the pigeon capital, the Lord King Owen personally penned these codes, and every church of glory has a copy, including the ancient home of the prophets. And in ancient Elvish, the Sinfonica means the classic of classics. And Nikki takes the codes and carefully opens the cover, and cursive black ink rubs tidily across the first page. God of glory and high, your disciples listen keenly to your will and await your salvation at the unmaking of the world, and may glory shine everywhere on our faces. And Nikki turns the page. The God of the glory once had 9 elven emissaries who lived about the skies and held sway over the turning of the earth. And the elven emissaries of fire that Giselle mentioned was counted among them. And on the page, the 9 emissaries form a circle gathered under the God of the glory's light. And when 9, Giselle said that there was only 8. Keep reading. And the other emissaries of water was seduced by dark temptations and fell from the light. And in a war against the God of glory, lost their place among the emissaries. The Codex say that they also light are the people of the God of glory, and they bring glory through interpreting God's will and are the saviors at the end of the world. Do you buy all that? And here's another version. Long ago, the prophet Salah did receive a prophecy on the destruction of the world and spread the word across Pigeon Kingdom. And the Savior preserved the original version of the prophecy, and the text is quite straightforward. Doomsday shall come. The end is nigh. But there's no God of glory or else of light. So where did the gods of glory and the else of light saving the world in the later versions come from? So yeah, in the original version it said, we're all doomed. Every civilization manufactures faith, and the dogma of the glory was dictated by the crown. And the house of light took the people's faith in light and forged the God of glory. And from fear of extinction comes fervent faith, and in the face of destruction the people pray for the light to save them. History is not always truthful. Amen, brother. The air in the cabin cools as if the balming presence of glory receives Glowing's words, and Nikki ponders them for a long time. It's getting late, and it's best if we head back. Outside the cabin, a crowd of black-clad figures occupy the once vacant grass, and they stand silently in the clearing, and a young man with a pale blonde hair at the helm, and his face as placid as the surface of Lake Bovali. And the tall war horses tower behind their anxious snorts, piercing the silence, and the golden royal insignia gleams on their elegant saddles. The royal insignia, could it be Ophelia's men? And lo insignious Nikki took her voice down with an almost imperceptible shake of his head. And the man at the front is in a lean lite, and his skin pale from lack of exposure, with pearly green eyes behind gold-rimmed glasses, and under his hood a pair of sharp ears, barely visible, hinting at the elven heritage. Good day, I am Archpriest Alan, and by order of Her Majesty, the forest is off limits, and please leave at your earliest convenience. And the words were spoken with poise and elegance, as if the youth was simply exchanging pleasantries with honored guests, and the sort of his ways tells a much different chilling story. Yeah, the lever will stab you with the pointy end. Ah, what a coincidence. We are friends of the Queen. And fishing for a reaction from the man, Lowen dangles a spyglass at his waist, muttering ruefully, I was hoping I could get a good look at the birds in the forest. And Alan lifts an eyebrow, and a light on his green eyes darkens, and a wan smile makes its way onto his lips. The forest has been severely damaged by the last night's storm, and it needs time to recuperate. And what was all the fuss about, and kept me up all night? And Lowen John's rolling his neck, and his gazing drifting past Alan and his subordinates to land on the figure in the distance. And a man with silver gray hair quietly dismounts under the tree and then walks over calmly after tying the reins. Storms are frequent this time of year, and for safety reasons we are temporarily banned entry to the forest. And as Alan redirects the conversation, he appears unwilling to reveal more information. Your friendship with Her Majesty makes it even more imperative that we guide you out of the forest safely. Thanks, but we have to decline and we'll stay at the rest stop and help the owner fix up while we're here. And no interest to get past Alan, but Alan raises an arm to block his way. My apologies, but perhaps I didn't make myself clear. Please cooperate with us in this delicate situation. And Alan's polite facade does not waver as some black-clad figures move forward to surround Nikki and Loen. Or what, you kidnap us? And Loen reaches for the holster at his waist as Nikki shields Momo with her body and the tension is palpable in the air, fit to erupt at any moment. And then Turbo unfamiliarly nods through the tension. Tell me, Mr. Allen, does the church often stoop to fabricating the Queen's edicts? And the indolent royal musician strolls in with his eyes set in a lazy, seemingly carefree squint, looking as if just woken up from a nap. And Mordred passes through the blanket figure and saunters his way over to Nikki and Loen. Mordred, what are you? And Mordred turns his head and his carefree expression and his voice is low and whispered. It's complicated and we'll talk after we deal with this crowd. Who wouldn't like to change clothing? And the front and back and after that.
Every battle I'm in, victory is the...
Alan and his entourage seem reluctant for a confrontation, and after a brief skirmish they climb back on their horses and disappear into the woods. Ah. a really long one. I'll read that one next time. Alright, back to the main. By the time you return to the rest stop, it's almost sundown, and Uncle Jim is the only person there, which is Sarah and the others already headed into the depths of the forest. And several Shumis emerge from the corner of the wall and coo warmly. They say more people. Oh, another silver-haired man. In Momo's interpretation, he wasn't the same as the man who came 3 days ago, and he's human with no glowing wings. And the man from the 3 days ago didn't have wings either, and he had elven blood. Yep, that tall, dark, handsome guy sure was strange, and he was an elf of light, but he didn't have glowing wings. An elf with glowing wings looked the best, like that pure black girl from the day before last, and smelled like morning dew. Cuckoo, Ophelia, and Mercury have passed through this forest these past few days, they say. And Mercury, are you sure? And a tall, silver-haired, handsome man with elf or light bloodline, no wings, that's Mercury for sure. And as far as I know, he will not come personally unless both of them were seen here in the pigeon forest, and it is possible that they traveled together here. A while ago, Queen Ophelia found clues in the Globis collection of her codices, and she then gathered a congregation and headed into the forest to investigate. And the Church of Globis has hampered the Queen at every turn, and in fact, even this investigation has been entrusted to Sierra family. But from the archpriest's behavior back there, the church must be aware of her plans. And could Queen Ophelia be in danger? Obviously, the church wouldn't dare to harm the Queen directly, but if they were knew ahead of time that she was heading to the forest center. As Modek explains his theory, he runs his fingers across the grass. They are either trying to stop the Queen or trying to use her. Can you tell us more about Ophelia's visit to the pigeon forest, Mordrick? And conscious of the potential state of secret, Lauren turns away gamely, and Mother Shock was paying no mind. About 3 months ago, when I was in the near for a children's concert, the Queen began to pour over Queen Brunhilde's collection. As I recall, she was looking for a way to keep the light alive. And you just met the Archpriest Alan, who teaches the Queen the ancient Elvish, and he found a hymn dedicated to the House of Fire and discovered a message contained within. When the light wanes, return to your birthplace and seek the first spark, whose sacred flame shall extend pigeon's glory. And what does it mean? In the depths of the pigeon forest lies a sacred ground shrouded in mist, and according to the legend, it is the birthplace of the elves of light, and only those of pure blood can enter. Pure blood, the elves of light, and you mean the Elven King, and has anyone ever been in there? It's just a distant legend, and besides, the misty forest has dangerous reputation, and elven monarchs do not travel there lightly. And Queen Ophelia made an extensive preparation before her journey, and we're supposed to be able to feel her presence through the original crystal, but we had lost our connection since the storm yesterday. The eye of the storm was the misty forest, and it may have something to do with Queen Ophelia. And as dust melts into the distant horizon, the mist rolls in with twilight, obscuring the secrets of the forest once more. And among the ancient forest, dazzling lights are ominously mist, and wind whistles through the branches and accompanied by the faint drizzle, but as long as you stick together, the dangerous woods may yet give way to hope. So we're in the pigeon forest, and in the dark mist a golden butterfly flaps its wings listlessly in the wind. And as the breeze subsides, the butterfly alights on the branch and transforms into a tiny spark, and show me the innocence of the forest crowd around the wanderer's side. Cuckoo! Crisp morning birds and heralds a new day in the pigeon forest, and after a rain, the mist and the dewdrops carry a faint scent of petrichor. The yard is already alive with the sound of woodworking as Nikki and Momo finish their breakfast to find Uncle Jim hard at work. On top of the morning, dear guests, and today's breakfast is my classic creamy pumpkin soup and cucumber tomato sandwiches. Morning, Uncle Jim, and we had some already, and it was delicious. GCL's gone, and he took his royal canned meat with him. And need a second breakfast, Momo. And with a bundle of wood boards in his hand, Lauren strides over to Uncle Jim's carpentry table. Heck no. And well, if you're full, then it's time to roll your sleeves up. And near the carpentry table are several unfinished wooden canvases the size of bird nests. And those are cute, and what are they for? And thanks to this gallant knight and his timely assistant, all morning the roof and the footbridges are fixed up. So now we are making new houses for our displaced fungi friends, and so now your craftsmanship rivals that of our dwarves. The storm might have affected more than just the shroomies, and they can take shelter in these houses for a while until they see the less pitching. And you shouldn't have such generous hearts, and the forest will remember your deeds. And with the tools in Uncle Jim's workshop, the girls gets to sawing, gluing, and nailing, and finishes the work in no time. 15, 16, that should do it, and thank you all for your help, kind guests and Ness. And Uncle Jim was off the sawdust in his hand, and then lights up the little wooden houses in a row, and several curious shroomies crowded in, and not obviously puffier and taller than you last saw them. Are you even the same shroomies I know? In one particular break, Shroomy pokes his head into one of the houses, but his head fills out the space inside, and as the Shroomy stands back, the house stays stuck on the roof of his head and perched like a wooden top hat, and panic starts running around. And Lawrence goes to the rescue, gingerly plucking the Shroomy out of his new top hat, and still a little flustered, the Shroomy huddles around his family as they exchange worried coos. And why are these Shroomies so big all of a sudden? They say it's because of the strange rainwater and the dampness, and the kids, their tufts grow so fast. And the Shroomies' growth is indeed affected by the weather, and until the water recedes, we'll have to make their original homes larger. And the rest stuff will keep them safe and sound until then. And on a note, I can guess, will you be willing to venture into the forest once more? Leave it to us, Uncle Jim. Sounds good, and we wanted to inspect the damage in the forest anyway. And if you can head into the surrounding woods and set these little abodes between any secure branches, I can only hope our little friends in the forest survive this ordeal. Let's have some nail art. Alright, front and back and azul.
Will you trust me?
The storm-ravaged forest floor is littered with snapped branches, and above the fully submerged shrubs floats leafless camellias, ripped whole from their stems. Look, isn't this where we first met the flower fairy? All the flowers have been blown off, and where will they stay now? And as you hand the first house on a nearby tree, you hear a soft humming by your ear, and you turn to find several fairies flying from their hiding places and circling for a few moments before zipping into the house. And one of the flower fairies appears to recognize you and lands on Momo's head, and her wings buzzing with pleasant sound. Our flower bed was destroyed by the storm, and all of our food was gone, and thank you for the pretty new house. And we plan to rest and recuperate for a bit, and then head to the flower. And when the forest recovers and the flowers bloom, we shall return. The fairies also asked me why we hadn't left with Giselle. Giselle was here, and she said that Giselle came by with some honey, and that it was thanks to her that she and her sisters didn't starve. But Giselle was heading for the Tree of Life, and I still had to look for my family, so we went our separate ways. And exhausted from all that she said, the flower fairy folds her fairies and drifts back into the house to rest. The Tree of Life, what's that? And knowing gestures are done the forest depths where the lush crowds or leaves and obscure everyone's vision. It's a positively ancient tree that lives in the heart of the forest, and they say that the lifeblood of the entire forest runs through it, and the elves of the forest regard it as sacred, and others call it the world tree. Errant gusts of wind blow through the forest, shaking the collected raindrops of the trees and onto your clothes, and as you walk, you pick up more secure spots along the branches, hanging more houses into them. Lauren, do you know the field of the flowers that the fairies talked about earlier? There's a wide expanse of flowers on the other side of the forest, where the blossoms never close, but the flower fragrance has been said to create mirages that are hard for people to escape from. And like many of the wonders of the pigeon forest, they are beautiful, magical, yet unknowable, and a few can even be dangerous to outsiders due to hypnotic effect. And I'm talking to you, Momo, because we're not putting any strange in your mouth, and stay close. So don't eat any random stuff. I feel like somebody like cooking in the background. Let's see if I can finish this stream before like if I can finish this chapter before it's time to eat.
This time I'll change the ruined future.
I see the flamingo ring. The group has more houses on the intersecting branches, and as you brush aside an especially verdant shrub, a group comes upon a rushing spring. A spring here, and it looks like there's something in the water. And following Momo's paw, you see a faint glimmer of something beneath the ripples. And at the bottom of the spring, there seems to be a fragment with a strange markings buried in the mud. And as the ground edges closer, Lauren reaches out and fishes the fragment out of the water. See, the engraving is elvish and must be a fragment of a steel that was carried here by the storm. And Lauren, can you read what the engraving say? And wiping off the sludge of the fragment reveals a set of inscriptions, and studying it for a few moments, Lauren shakes his head. This is just part of the inscription, and the wear on is considerable, and only I ever seen ancient Elvis like this in history books, and one need an expert to decipher the text. And let's bring it back to Mordred, he might be able to tell us what's on it. And Nikki picks up the steel fragment, and then the group moves along the side of the spring, where they find an unbroken stone slab. And on the slab is a neat arrangement of fresh fruits and delectables, and still glistening with moisture. Ah, am I seeing these juicy grapes, pearls, and a giant watermelon too? And with a gleeful meow, Momo hops onto the slab, embracing the orb-like watermelon. Watermelons are this big, are rare this time of year, and let's bring all of these fruits back to the rest stop. Hey, why is this watermelon moving? And the watermelon in Momo's clutches suddenly gives a ferocious wiggle, and then springs out of his claws and starts rolling away. Freeze! Momo! And as the watermelon rolls into the bushes, speeding up instead of slowing down, Momo starts giving chase. Come back, my sweet watermelon. And knock it off, I ain't sweet. You can talk? And you watch as the rotund watermelon goes through the transformation of sprouting a fluffy tail and then four springy legs. And the large green heels, the watermelon skin turns into a black and white pattern, and before your very eyes, the rolling watermelon changes into a raccoon on the run. And let me go, I'm inedible. Oh, it's like one of those little shape-shifting raccoons that are common in Japan. What's inedible? And once the raccoon's transformation is complete, it passes its balls and its way into the woods, disappearing without a trace. Little watermelon. This will do. front and back and hacia.
Come on. I'll present you with the most beautiful dream.
You get back to the restaurant to find Mordek enjoying a leisurely brunch and nodding to you and Nikki as he yawns. Oh, it's so humid in here, and even the blankets in the house are wet, and you've been out and back, I see. And on the table in front of him, several giant shumis are having an impromptu picnic around a can of meat. Nowhere's good enough for you. Wait, where do you get that can? I found it in the kitchen, so this is where you ate when you were here. I see the rest of food is always the same. And I only had a nibble before I saw how badly the shumis wanted it, so I gave it to them. Mother, we found this while we were out in the forest, and can you understand the inscription on it? Mother takes a steel fragment and wipes it off with a handkerchief and starts chanting the words. Emissary of water, is water ceaseless, our praises unending, the structure reads like part of a hymn. An emissary of water, and I remember the name is one of the other emissaries from Symphonica. And I thought the emissary of water had fallen from grace, and what are the still hints about him? And where do you find this? A spring further up north, and looks like the storm washed it up to the surface. And there was also a tray of fresh fruit next to the spring, and a watermelon that rolled away and became a raccoon. And I think you have it backwards, Momo, and that was a raccoon that turned into a watermelon. And they shift all the time for fun, and probably spooked it when we showed up. And I also heard that they have a curious tendency in the spring you found, and that fruit we saw. It seems to be some sort of offering ritual. And the springs might be related to the steels too, and it seems like the raccoons might still worship the emissaries of water. Also, like dogmas excluded to the emissary of water from the pantheon long ago, and for the deadnesses of the forest, though older traditions might still prevail. And this fragment might just be a piece from a steel somewhere in the woods. When we venture deeper into the woods, we might just find more clues to the distant past.
Do you like this dress?
front and back, and off we go.
I see the causes of the world with my eyes.
Miss Nikki, I heard you were venturing into the forest, and here's an adventurous gift pack to help you on your journey. Uncle Jim spreads a pack open on the table, displaying a wide range of content for all those to see. And in the past, a wilderness survival handbook maps of the pigeon forest plus a variety of canned foods, vegetables, and meats. And next to the spread, the Shumi's empty can of meat catches Uncle Jim's eyes. Oh, your master said left his can for us before he left, and what are they doing here? No worries, I've tossed the rest into the bag for you, and this should keep you going on the long trek through the forest. Thank you, Uncle Jim. Hey, is this a map of Pigeon Forest? And with a clump of fishes out a multicolored map from the pack with different areas in the forest in different colors. No, Nikki, that's the field of the flowers of the fairies talked about and the bright tree in the middle, and Giselle must have gone that way. And our Nikki watches as Mother circles the map center with his slender finger. The altar in the ledges in the middle of that mist, and that's where we lost contact with Ophelia. And we need another way to break to the mist and find Her Majesty. And the map is intricately decorated with blue, red, and inkstone print flowers and brown huts, and brought together with the dark green of the world tree in the murky white of the mist forest, and this vibrant colors form a tapestry of mysteries. And the Realm Mountain in the bottom right, and that's where I'm from, and haven't been back there in a while, and dwarf tunnels are built tough so the storm wouldn't have bothered them anyway. And my little guest, and when you're passing through the mountains, tell them you're a friend of Jim, and they'll know who I am, and will be welcome with toasty dwarven hospitality. Best of luck. Oh yeah, that's more red looking. let's show front and back, and let's go.
Every battle I'm in, victory is the only outcome.
Alright, that was the last mission of the chapter. Like, there's a sub-chapter in chapter 6 called Tide and Fire, but it's a little too long to try to do on like the same stream. So the next time that I stream Shining Nikki, I'm gonna be doing Tide and Fire. So I hope you look forward to that. Bye bye. Give a like and subscribe. Bye bye and God bless.